Right now, right now. 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 Right now. Right now, 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 right now. Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We gotta add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. Well, what's happening? It's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your week daily morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, boy, do we have a lot to bring you. You see, my friends, right now, Bitcoin is trading at $41,700 and change. If you'll remember the last week, we talked about how Bitcoin had rallied up to a certain level. It was in the 38,000, about $38,400. We had rallied there 3 times, and we predicted that first we would rally back to that level, and after that, we would break that level because it was the 4th test, and based on our understanding of the principles of technical analysis, whenever you test a level of resistance more than 3 times, so that is the 4th test and on, that level of resistance becomes exceedingly likely to break because it shows that the bulls are strong enough to get up to that level 4 times to test it. Normally, that indicates that the bulls are strong enough to break through that level in the first place. And today, we're going to be talking about how that exact movement has occurred over the weekend, and we're going to be talking about why this very well may be day 1, hour 0 of the next impending bull market. We've been calling for a bull market for the entirety of this year. I predicted back in March that we would be seeing a $35,000 to $50,000 Bitcoin by year's end. Year's end is coming up. We are right now trading at $41,700. Your altcoin portfolio that I have helped you to establish over the last few weeks will have been up substantially, and we're going to break down how we can best profit in this market today. So thank you very much for joining me, and I do apologize for the technical difficulties this morning. Been a bit of a hectic morning, but we are here, and I'm very excited to bring you guys today's episode of Coffee and Crypto. All right. Let's go ahead and read some chat. Mike Lowry's in chat. Joe Bollier's in chat. Jason Berry. Joey Van Englenberg. Philly Skills 1428. Nikesh Gupta. Cool name. Said, booyah. Good to see you, Nikesh. Crypto Surge is in chat. RK. Anita's in chat. Crypto Surge again. Megatron1 said, I'm excited about today's show. I am too. Colin Townsend said 48K, Jeb, then back to 39, then 300K. Nilman said, what up, Team Jeb? Barn Casino said, hello, Jeb. Hello. John Stoley1 said, morning, Dr. Jeb. You know, I thought about becoming a doctor. Not a doctor of medicine. I was going to be a doctor of astrophysics, and I decided not to spend 12 years in college because I like learning. I don't like school. And that's why I've tried to build a school that doesn't feel like school, but is just about the learning, and that's called CT2A. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. UFO Nut, Jason Jowson Media, Alex Kaimana's in chat, Herman Barbara, Josh Denham, Clever Napkin, Victor Sleeps, Danny Taylor Jr. said Texas in the house. Shadrack Frost said, good Monday morning, everyone. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hashtag FinSov, hashtag HODL, hashtag Bitcoin. Hashtag sneezing. Sorry, that normally doesn't happen to me while I'm live. Apologies for that. I think I got it muted in time. All right. Without much further ado, let's go ahead and jump on over to CoinMarketCap. Right now, Bitcoin is trading at $41,613. It is up 12.5% in the last 7 days. That would be a good year for the United States stock market at any year in the past 130. Ethereum is trading at 2222. That is a yearly high. That is a resurgent bull market high. We have not seen that high since the last bear market. The last time we were at this level, we were falling through this level. We were up 10% in the last 7 days. Binance only up 1%. Did rally a good bit and then had a bit of a correction. This is an indication to me that you should be interested in certain altcoins, Binance and XRP being one of them. They are sleepers. They have not rallied that much, but I do think fundamentally they will do well. As a result of the SEC coming after both of those projects, both of those cryptocurrencies, I would not be surprised if they were late bloomers, which means that you might be able to get in on them earlier right now than you would be able to some of these other cryptocurrencies that have already rallied so much. Solana's sitting at $60, up to 11%. Up 11% in the last 7 days. Cardano up 6%. Dogecoin up 12%. If you're not building that portfolio we talked about, now's your time. I'm going to be going and doing some management of my own portfolio today immediately after stream because we need to be in position, guys. Let me just say something very quickly. We need to be in position now because bull markets move fast. When we start going back to all-time high, it will happen in a matter of weeks. I used to be in a group called C12, and it was a peer advisory business forum where we would go every single month, and myself and 11 other business owners in the surrounding region for myself, we would sit down, we'd have a business meeting and talk about how to grow our businesses and everything, and we were learning about balance sheets one week, and this is back in January of 2021. We learned about balance sheets that week, and then we came back the next month, and we talked about it, and we said, okay, how'd your balance sheet do? And somebody asked, I said, well, mine doubled, and they looked at me like, what? Huh? I was like, yeah, it doubled. Did you do something? I swear those people thought I was selling crack or something. No, we're in Bitcoin. The market doubled in a month. That's how quickly this thing moves. I'm not kidding. That's a true story. That was my second month there. Everybody else there is at least 35. I'm 21. And they're like, who is this kid with a YouTube channel who's in our business group? And I'm like, oh, well, it's a real business. We've got like 10 employees, And the market was doing this. If you remember, you guys remember, the market went parabolic. That was back here. January 2021. I think it was the December meeting. I came back in January. That's what it was. It was December meeting was on a Wednesday. It was probably December 9th, right here. And the market literally doubled by the next meeting. I'm not kidding. I mean, you see it right there. In 30 days, we went up 100%. That's the point I'm making. Again, here's another story. While I'm on this topic, because this is kind of funny. When I had just moved out of my dad's house and I moved into my own house, I had this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house I moved into. And I had a friend who was 18 I went to high school with. He was 2 grades below me, and his mom wanted to meet me because I think he was 17. Actually, I was 19. His mom wanted to meet me because she's like, this kid just moved out of his house into this like $300,000 house. How did he do that? She wanted to meet me because she thought I was selling drugs. I wasn't. I was like, hey, nice to meet you. Good. I've known your son for a long time. He's a really great guy. And she loved me after that. But she's like, what the heck is this guy doing? It's crypto. It's a weird market. It moves fast. These are both true stories, by the way. It moves fast. And so when the bull market comes, be ready for it. I mean, come on, guys. I think you've seen what's happened here. In the last 52 days, we've rallied 60%. If you're not in position already for this coming bull market, with all haste, my friend, with all haste, I'm going to explain before this stream's over exactly what you ought to do. You're going to walk away from this stream with very specific, actionable steps to take to make money in this bull market. Fine? Good. We're going to look at the market. That's the majority of the stream. But at the end of the stream, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to think about doing before you walk away from your desk today to ensure that you are in position to profit the best that you possibly can. I got to read chat for a second because I have to see the responses to that. A lot of people laughing about that. Looks like somebody had a passing in the family. Chris LeBlanc said, "Give a shout out to my dad. He passed away on Thanksgiving." John White, Godspeed. Godspeed to you, my friend. I'm very sorry to hear that. Lord, just please be with their family during that time. I'm very sorry to hear that, Chris. Thank you for sharing that with us, and absolutely shout out to your father. And I hope you guys are doing okay. I know that must be very difficult losing a parent like that. All right, good deal. Let's get on with it. This is one of my favorite things to do in my entire day. As far as my work is concerned, this is one of my favorite things to do, is to jump into the charts with you guys. I've been doing technical analysis on the market every single day for the last 6 years. And it never gets old. It never gets old because it's something new every single day. I love looking at the markets with you guys, and I cannot wait to do it today. So let's go ahead and jump onto it. Right now, Bitcoin is going parabolic. Pause. Remove all of these lines. What do you see here? If you'll recall, I drew this curve a while ago. That curve was indicating the early stages of Bitcoin going parabolic once again. I really hope you saw last week's analysis because I predicted up, down, sideways, back, forth, left and right, blue and purple, pink and red that Bitcoin was looking at a breakout above 38K. And we talked about all the reasons why. There were about a dozen or more why we expected that that was the likelihood at this point. But one of them was the fact that Bitcoin was being pushed up into its resistance at 38,400 with a parabolic uptrending curve. That's not just an uptrend, mind you. That is a parabolic curve. And when you extrapolate out a parabolic curve like that, what do you get but a parabola? And if you were to extrapolate it out now, you can see it's very difficult to even draw the curve because we've gone so far parabolic. If we connect these four lines in the way that we had, you can see that depending on exactly how you draw it, this is a parabola, and Bitcoin is following that parabola. One of the other things that we talked about, and somebody actually gave me the technical term for it, I think I forgot it, but it's not auto-rotating. Somebody who's into cycling, you can tell me what it is when you like go slower for a little while to catch your breath. You'll have to tell me. Somebody inside, I guarantee somebody in chat's a cyclist and they know what I'm talking about. But we talked about how this rally had really kind of reset right around here. Let's look on the 3 daily chart. Right around here, it had kind of, or on the daily chart, it had really reset right around here. We had gone through kind of 2 phases. This is like our second phase of the uptrend. Went through the first phase here where we were going through major rallies. You can see that happening on MACD. You can see that happening on RSI. Went through a parabolic blow-off phase. And then instead of correcting and crashing, we had so much bullish exuberance because of the hoped for Bitcoin ETF that Bitcoin just continued to climb to the upside. We had a phase A, B, C. Normally that's a corrective movement in Elliott wave theory. In this case, it was a bullish movement. And then we had this sideways trading. A 1, 2, 3 rally, then followed by sideways. And then we reset. Before we entered into this movement, we had sideways. Remember, if you throw a ball in the air, if you have a ball and you throw it in the air, there is an infinitesimally short period of time where that ball is not moving in the vertical direction. It is not going up, it is not going down, it is simply going sideways. Or if you throw it literally straight up, it's not moving at all. There's an infinitesimal, as in immeasurably small, point in time where that ball is not moving at all. It is totally still. If that ball is staying still for longer than no time at all, then it's in a perfect gyroscopic orbit around the Earth, right? The same thing can be said if you fire a bullet, or you throw a baseball, or you shoot a cannon shell, or you fly a plane. There is a point in time where you are not moving up or down vertically. You are at what is known as the apoapsis or the apogee, depending on whether you're speaking in English or Spanish. And that is a point in time where you are not moving and you are at the peak of your suborbital or orbital trajectory, your curve. The same thing can be said for Bitcoin. Again, physics background here. The same thing can be said for Bitcoin. When you reach a peak, there is a point in time, whether it be for 1 second or whether it be for 1 month, where the market is not moving. In this case, the market decided to not move for a couple of weeks. We traded sideways, generally speaking, up here, ranging in between $34,000 and $38,000. And it seems that that very short amount of corrective movement, as in sideways trading, was a long enough period of time that Bitcoin was able to reset. And then when we pulled back down to $35,600, once again, that was a higher low, and we began this parabolic curve to the upside. Bitcoin now seemingly has reset back to the first phase. Do you see what I'm saying here? Let's just try and explain this a little bit differently. You have a pause, you have a pause. You have a phase 1 of the rally. You have kind of a phase 1 of the rally. You have a phase 2 of the rally, this parabolic uptrend. You have a phase 2 of the rally, this parabolic uptrend. These rallies are moving in 3 phases, and it's very important and very easy, actually, for us as humans to discern that pattern. We are built, we are designed with pattern recognition in our mind. It is the entire basis of how we do science. And there's a science to the way you do technical analysis. You look for patterns, and then you try and figure out, based on your analysis, whether they're going to repeat themselves. The pattern that we saw before was a pause, i.e. sideways trading, a sizable uptrend followed by a parabolic uptrend followed by a little bit more uptrend. Not necessarily that it's not necessarily true the market will perfectly repeat that, but it may repeat it to some degree. So what do we do with this information now that we see that Bitcoin is repeating a similar pattern that it did before that rallied us $13,000? Well, you know, I want to go ahead and I think today would be a good day to announce this because we've got a bunch of people watching, and I just want to let you know that we're working on something behind the scenes. I am working, and I'm not going to... It's still kind of in the ideation phase. It's still in the early phases, but I do believe this is going to come to fruition. I am working on creating my very own technical indicator alongside Lux Algo. They approached me and asked me to do it. And so I'm pretty excited about it. And one of the things that I racked my brain for like 5 days thinking, if I was to make a technical indicator, what would I do? Because I've read technical indicators for years and never made one. What would I do? Well, I think that I would look at how the bulls and the bears' strength is shifting. Then I would also try and figure out what the targets are. Where would the market go? And you've seen me do that a lot on this channel, and I want to try and build an indicator that can also help with that I can use in my analysis. As far as I'm not a programmer, I wouldn't be the one building it, but I would be right there helping to make sure that it does what I want it to do. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. The strength of the bulls right now is very strong. We've established that. Phase 1, you establish how strong are the bulls versus the bears. Right now, I hope that you understand that we've established the bulls are very strong. Very strong. To the point where we can just kind of throw our hands up and say, look, they're strong enough that we don't know exactly where they're going to stop. This was a parabolic breakout, guys. Bitcoin's at 41.5. Now, in keeping with kind of what I'm talking about with creating this indicator that I'm trying to put together, that Lux Algo is going to, that we're working together on. Now, the next kind of stage of my analysis is, all right, well, if the bulls are very strong, how far will they go? What are the next resistance levels that we need to see? That's what I look for in my analysis. And so one of the levels that we're looking for here is the Fibonacci retracement. If you guys will recall, Fibonacci retracement is sitting right here between $39,000 and $41,000. Well, wait a second, Jeb, aren't we at 41.5? Yes. And that's the exciting bit. I told you. There's funny. There's two things I told you. First of all, I told you that the next major resistance level that we're looking at is $39,000 to $41,000. And we're probably going to break 38.4, and we're probably going to go there because of all the things that we talked about last week. I'd be here for an hour if I tried to repeat all of it. Go back and watch the last 5 streams if you're interested. But it's almost certainly going to break 38.4 at this point. It's showing a lot of signs of bullishness. We're going to break it, and we're going to go to 39 to 41. But there was one thing I said. I think it was on Friday. And I said this because I was reminded of a conversation I had with Sean while I was on that phone call talking about the new indicator, where I told him, look, I make my predictions publicly, and I do my very best to be a little bit more conservative in them, but sometimes I'm a little bit more aggressive behind the scenes, but I don't want to get people hurt because YouTube shows me there's literally over 40,000 individual people that watch the stream every single week. And so I want to be careful with that. I want to be a wise steward of the wisdom that I give you. But there's a lot of times I make a prediction. I'm like, I actually think it's going to go further than that. Some of you guys call it out. You're like, Solana's only going to triple. I think Solana's going to more than triple, which is between you and me. Just don't share that with anybody. But I think it's going to more than triple, right? But I don't want to screw people over. And so if you remember, I kind of let it leak on Friday. I was like, 39 to 41 is my official prediction, but I'm going to be honest, I could totally see it going to 48 because you start getting parabolic when you get back to all-time high. It's a little bit like, if you, again, the astrophysics analogies, if you got a black hole, you start going faster the closer you get to the black hole because the gravity gets stronger, right? Make sense? Makes sense. So what's the point here? Again, we talked about the strength of the bulls and the bears. I think I've painted a good picture. I hope I have. You can be the judge of that. As to whether or not the bulls are strong. I think we know right now that they are strong. One point I want to throw in there. They broke through 39 to 41 in about a day. In about a day. That was fast. And so that kind of stretch goal, that stretch prediction of 48K, now has to be in the cards. We've established the strength of the bulls and the bears. We've established that they already broke through the first zone of resistance that we were talking about. And so now, what next? Is there more to come? Pause. I'm going to answer that. In just a minute, we are going to talk about whether or not Bitcoin is going to go into its next price target, which I would say is between $48,000 and $51,000. And I'll explain where that number comes from. I'll explain why 48K is important. I'll explain all of that. But first, I want to touch on briefly what we should be doing right now. I'm going to just take an intermission, and I'm going to explain what we ought to be doing right now. Because what I'm about to say is going to be exciting, but if I don't temper that with wisdom, then we have foolishness. Excitement with wisdom can create great bounties. Excitement with foolishness will bankrupt you. So we're about to go into something exciting. It's going to be a FOMO-y kind of message. Be like, oh man, look at what could happen here. It's exciting. It's, to use a phrase, euphoric. But it will destroy you if you don't manage it wisely. I have been doing this as my full-time career for 6 years, and I have come to realize that there are 2 core ideals that I teach: financial sovereignty and analysis of financial markets. One of them is a skill set. One of them is a mindset. The more important of the mindsets is financial sovereignty. That is being in control over your finances lest they control you. I have seen too many people and too many situations and too much time in my own life to count where finances have controlled me because of either debt or because of unwise expenses or because I'm spending a bunch of money on something I shouldn't be. To use an example to my own detriment, there were times that I spent $1,200 a month eating out. That was plumb stupid. Now, I was making $100,000 a month at the time, but it was still stupid, right? There are so many times that I just was like, I remember I used to tell myself like 4 or 5 years ago, I don't need a budget. I'll just be frugal. That's called stupid. Like, I'm not saying I'm stupid. I'm not saying you're stupid. But that action was stupid, right? I don't typically call people stupid, but I'll call something stupid. That was stupid. You're going to realize why I'm making this point. Please bear with me. You're probably like, Jeb, I'm here for crypto. What are you talking about this stuff? Just hang on a second. Just give me like 2 minutes. I want to help you ensure that you're actually going to be able to keep this wealth. You are going to, let me just put something out here that's kind of exciting and temper what I'm going to say. You are going to make a lot of money in this market if you do what I'm about to tell you to consider. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not your financial advisor. Make your own decisions. Don't blame me for them. You are responsible for your own decisions. You are a grown individual, more than likely. Make your own decisions. I'm not your money manager, period. I'm not to blame for anything that you do. What I will tell you is I'm going to give you the best sound wisdom that I can. Then you make the decision, and you're responsible for what you do. I will do my very best not to make any bad calls, and I'll do my very best to teach you what wisdom is. But no matter what you do, make sure that you have a plan for your money. No matter what you do, please do not go take out a bunch of debt to buy crypto. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Please don't take out a bunch of debt to go buy crypto. I know so many stories where people went out and took second mortgages on their home. They went out and took a $300,000 loan and they signed it with good credit. And they bought at 50 or 60K on Bitcoin. They bought Dogecoin at the top and they are bankrupt today. And they could have made a lot of money if they had done it the right way. And it was a personal finance and a spiritual problem. It wasn't a crypto problem because the crypto market you make a lot of money in, but if you don't know how to do it, you're going to broke yourself. You're going to make yourself go broke. So please listen to what I'm about to say. Instead of lump sum purchasing Bitcoin right now, which is the temptation, I need you to realize something. Bitcoin has just rallied $16,500. And in a minute, I'm going to talk about why 48 to 50 might be around the corner. But the key word is might. We do not know the future for certain. That is a limitation of technical analysis that you have to understand and that I have to understand. We cannot predict the future with 100% accuracy. It doesn't work that way. Analysis gives us statistical probabilities that we can make trades off of and put the odds in our favor. With proper understanding of technical analysis, you can generally predict what the market's going to do with about a 65 to 80% likelihood. If you were to play blackjack and you could win 65 to 80% of the time, you can make a lot of money, right? You don't have to win every time to make money if you play 10,000 times. But that does not give you a 100% certainty of what the market's going to do. That's a limitation of technical analysis. It does not predict the future like it's a magic 8-ball or something. So here's the practical. Instead of dumping a large sum of money into Bitcoin, and God forbid you go and take out a loan and do it, God, it just makes me cringe because I know some people have done that and it just makes me so sad. I'm so heartbroken for the people that have done that. I'm not angry at you. I don't think you're stupid. I've been misled too, but you were misled. If you thought taking out a $100,000 loan and buying Bitcoin was a good idea, it's not. If you're buying it at 15.5, maybe. Not here. Instead of doing that, and instead of putting a giant lump sum, instead of saying, I don't need savings. I don't need a car. I'll sell that. I can just walk everywhere. Dollar cost average. I am going to preach it from the mountaintops. Dollar cost average, and then, yes, have a reserve in your back pocket of cash. Listen, guys, if Bitcoin drops down to 25, I'm going to be the first person here saying, if you have extra money, throw it in. I am not going to tell you that after the market's rallied 60% in 50 days. You're not going to hear that from me. Dollar cost average. Set up a portfolio where you are dollar cost averaging into the top 20 altcoins and exclude any altcoins that you think are junk because you've got to make decisions for yourself. Exclude the stable coins, obviously, because they're not investments. You can store money in them. They're not investments. And then dollar cost average into those altcoins in the top 20, top 15, top 20, top 30, whatever, and then add a couple of moonbags in there and buy that index fund and individually manage it yourself. Go on Coinbase, set up a recurring buy, and buy that index fund weekly. What that might look like practically is you might buy $100 of Bitcoin weekly, you might buy $20 of Ethereum weekly, you might buy $10 of Solana, $10 of ADA, $10 of XRP, $10 of Binance, $10 of Avalanche, $10 of Chainlink, $10 of Polkadot, $7 of Dogecoin, $7 of SHIB every single week. And you do that for the duration of the bull market until Bitcoin's north of 100K, because I think we're going over 100K. After we reach $100,000 on Bitcoin and you start getting to that territory, reverse it and start selling 1% of whatever the portfolio is worth at that point every single week. And you dollar cost average out of the market. Please do not go sell everything you have and throw money in the market. If you have a bunch of consumer debt you're paying 20% APY on, yeah, sell everything you have and pay that off. But don't go sell everything you have and buy Bitcoin when it's already rallied 60%. Buy Bitcoin on a schedule, and if it dips, then yes, have money in your back pocket that you're making 12% because you staked it on, or you got it in a, I don't know, a treasure. I don't care. Then go for it. Then buy the dip. Don't buy a lump sum at the top. I just had to say that because I know I've seen so many people do that. You're going to break yourself. You're going to broke yourself. Smile says, please stop yelling at me, lol. You sound like a young, crypto-friendly Dave Ramsey. I've had Dave Ramsey on my heart lately. I pray for that man. I really wish he would come to realize that Bitcoin's not a scam because I'm going to be honest, he's got a lot of great things to say, but he is dead flat, smack dab wrong. I wish he could call into his own show, but like he called into his own show, but he actually likes crypto, and then he could be called like stupid and the stuff he calls the other people on his show. Oh, Dave Ramsey. Oh, man. He's just a good example of how nobody's perfect, right? Everybody's wrong on something. I'm sure I'm wrong on something. I'm blind to something. Dave Ramsey's wrong on Bitcoin. Anyway, it's a spiritual problem, not a bit crypto problem. That's right. All right. Let's keep going here. We've already had probably about 20 people tune off because I said don't buy a lump sum right now on Bitcoin. They're like, don't buy a lump sum on Bitcoin right now. What are you saying, Jeb? Well, let's talk about that. Where's Bitcoin going? Before we start, preface. Everything I'm about to say is going to come across as FOMO. I'm going to do my very best to be as level and technical with you as possible, but keep in mind, the market has rallied 60%, and at some point, it will need a major correction, or look, maybe we're going back to all-time high right now. If we are, then you'll be glad you were dollar cost averaging. Capiche? All right. Whew. Catch my breath. Gets me fired up, man. You know why it gets me fired up? Because I've had thousands of emails of people emailing into me with, and it's almost always an extreme email. It's almost always, I put everything in crypto and it went broke and now I hate you. Or I put everything into crypto and I made a ton of money and now I love you. Or some mixture of that, right? It's one of those. But it's always high energy. It's always either, man, I'm so happy for you, or, oh my gosh, why did you do that? You know, sometimes like, oh my gosh, why did I say that? But no matter what it is, it's always something major. Anyway, and so that gives me energy because I love you guys and I care about you. And it grieves me when you're grieving, and it excites me when you're excited. 48 to 51 is our next target. Why? Fibonacci. Fibonacci golden pocket has already given us information on this high. You can see that if you zoom out far enough and you just kind of look at it, you know, with your eyes, see the market basically stopped here right below the golden pocket for a time. Now we've rallied through it. That's great. First things first, are we going to stay above the golden pocket, or is this just a candle wick moving up above the golden pocket? I have seen too many times to count small rally, large rally, smaller rally, end in defeat. Let me just give you two examples from this year. Rally, sideways, rally, correction. Rally, sideways, rally, correction. Rally, sideways, rally, correction. Rally, correction. A lot of times before you have a massive rally, you need to have a massive crash. And it's similar. I mean, you know, we talked about Dave Ramsey a minute ago. Dave Ramsey's worth $850 million today. The dude went bankrupt. You know, I've got similar stories in my life from people that I know and from myself. I'm like, man, I did really well. And wow, I squandered it. And so now I've got, and you know, there's a lot of areas where you're like, man, before honor comes humility, is what the Bible says. Before honor is humility. And a lot of times before something great happens, you have to be humbled. And Bitcoin's no different because it lives in this world. And oftentimes before Bitcoin goes through a great honoring rally, it needs to be humbled. It needs to be brought down low. So a correction is around the corner, like a lion waiting to devour the person that's going into a long right now. If you're already in a position, then you are happy. If you are thinking about going into a position right now, let me just smack that out of you. Be careful, because we've already rallied so far. You might make money, but you're taking a great risk if you're entering a long right now, especially considering we're correcting right here below the Fibonacci golden pocket. Every single trader and investor worth their salt right now knows that that golden pocket is there. And every single one of those traders that is in a trade knows, whoo, boy, we just rallied past that. Maybe I should sell my position that I got into around 35, lock in profits, wait for a small correction, enter a new trade. Remember, technical analysis is looking at the market through the lens of the trader. What is the trader thinking right now? The trader is thinking, I'm a wise trader. I entered back here on 35 on the dip, as a good trader should. I am now up, let's say 15%. I'm on leverage, so I'm up 90%. I'm going to lock in that trade. And then if Bitcoin breaks its local high, which we set very high, by the way, which is a high bar to break, it's 42.2, then I'll go into another long. But right now, we've already dropped $1,000. I may as well cut myself out, take my profits, reinvest it in the market, get some more cash from the sidelines, and then go in again. The wise trader is not buying right now. The fear of missing out trader is buying right now. But those traders only have so much money. Why? Well, because they are inexperienced in the market and they don't have as much money as the wise trader, so they end up getting burned and they don't drive the market for long because they don't have the same amount of capital as the wise traders. Why? Because the foolish traders lose all their money and they don't have as much money to move the market. So, this resistance at 39 to 41 is not over. We have not confidently breached this resistance. We've put a hole in it. That's true. This was zealousness. This was zeal that broke us up here. I want to see in 3 days, are we still trading above 41? If so, then okay. That's great. To use the besieging army analogy that I use oftentimes, this breakthrough right here is basically like the soldiers of the besieging army, the bears being the ones defending the keep, and here's the city wall at 41. The besieging army is just like, screw it, we're just throwing ourselves like it's D-Day at this thing, and we're going to break straight through here. Now the question is, can we hold it? D-Day, good example. Threw everything we got at the beaches. Now the question really is, can we hold a bulkhead? Can we hold something up here above 41? Just landing on D-Day on Normandy beaches was not enough. It was, can we establish, I said a bulkhead, I'm sorry. Can we establish a beachhead? Can we stay up here? Do we have the staying power, or will we get driven back into the sea? Time will tell. And as that time is telling, the wise trader is waiting and watching. If you are watching D-Day and you're making investments on who's going to win that war, and you don't have context of what's going on in the broader theater, but all you have is that the Allies just landed on D-Day, you're not making an investment in either side of that trade in that moment. You are giving it a week to see if the Allies that landed on Normandy beaches are able to actually stay there, or if they're going to get driven right back into the sea. And the wise trader is doing the exact same thing here. They see that we've broken through this resistance level, and they're skeptical. They're cautious. They're waiting to see if we will hold. And if in 4 days we're still above $41,000, then that's where they might start to say, okay, they held on, and so I'm going to invest in them. Because if they broke that resistance, what's next? What's next is 48 to 51. Why? Well, Fibonacci is what we're trading around right now, so it stands to reason that Fibonacci will continue to be relevant. The next Fibonacci level is 0.786. That is at $50,262. $48,000, that is a rough number that comes from right about here. That is a high that was set on our first major bear market high on the 29th of March, 2022. I remember this high about 3 weeks after my wife and I got married. I remember this high very well. $48,000. We thought that the market was going to start turning around. It didn't, because we hit this resistance right here, and we were not able to really break through it. By the way, $46,000 is another major level of resistance. 46, 48, 51. Those are our next levels that are in play if and only if those bulls that are, yes, very strong, are able to hold the beaches above $41,000. Will they? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. What I will say is that we've had a buy signal on MACD to confirm the histogram directional change that we talked about last week. Last week, I explained to you, I believe in Monday's episode, that instead of looking at MACD crosses, what you really need to be looking for are the reversals in the histogram, and then MACD crosses confirm. You really need to be looking for the bottoms on RSI and then crosses above the 14 confirm. RSI and MACD right now look very bullish. And that gives me a good degree of confidence that, yes, we will be able to hold the beaches and we'll be able to go on farther, especially since we're getting close to all-time high. People are excited about ETFs. People are excited about the halving. I have a degree of confidence that we probably will be able to reach up to at least 46 at this point. With how fast we rallied and with these oscillators, I could see it. I could see it. What I also see, though, is that we've hit the take profit on Lux Algo, and Lux Algo has very rarely steered me wrong. 40,400 is the bottom. 42,808 is the top. We've hit that. There's a blue X. You know what that means in Lux Algo lingo? That means exit your trade, trader. That means take profit. That's called a take profit signal. Trend catcher is green. Love to see it. Bollinger Bands, you probably already know, but they constricted greatly. I asked, because I'm working on some content for CT2A, I'm going to try and shoot some even today or tomorrow. And one of the I asked, what is something that you need to learn about technical analysis in your first week? And somebody said expansion and contraction cycles. It's a very good point. We're going through a contraction cycle right here on Bollinger Bands. That indicated we were going to have an increase in volatility, either break to the downside or break to the upside. We knew this week we were going to have a volatile breakout. The question was which direction. We knew the timing. We just didn't know the direction for sure. We were pretty confident on the direction, actually. I pretty much told you we were going to break to 41. So I suppose we did know that too. But we knew based on the tightening of the Bollinger Bands, we were going to have a breakout. Typically, an expansion cycle like this lasts a lot longer than 4 days. So there probably will be continued volatility. And I can really see it going to the upside. So with the limited information I have right now, because we literally just, to follow the analogy, landed on the beaches like 4 hours ago and the fighting is ongoing, I believe that it will be successful at this point. I think we will be able to hold above at least 39. I believe that we will reestablish a new trading zone above $39,000 to $41,000. But I say that with low confidence because we don't have much time. We don't have many trends. Something to understand about technical analysis is that when you break into a new region of the market, you need some time to establish the trends. You need some time to establish what is the trend up here? What exactly is the market doing right now? We need time to establish what the market sentiment is. It's a little bit like, let's say you're like playing Mario, right? And you go into the next world. You need to go through like a level or two to kind of get a feel for what the world's like. It takes a little bit of time to really understand what's going on here, right? And that's what we're going to do for Bitcoin. All right, so let's read chat and we will continue going. Many people like me, many people look at me like I'm crazy for investing in crypto. Not crazy for investing in crypto, just do it the right way. 2 things, don't take out debt, be careful of large money movements all at once. Be careful of large money movements all at once and be careful of debt. Better to diversify your investment over time and over coins, i.e. invest in a lot of coins over a lot of time. That will mitigate your risk profile while maximizing your reward profile. And that will be the best option for you. And that's not to say that you can't pick a certain altcoin and go in on it. I'm not saying that. Jeb telling these perma bulls to think smart. Yes, please do. Please think smart. Guys, I've been doing this for so long. But if you took a loan and never sold, you would still be up while also paying a huge amount of money in interest. And there's a lot of people that don't have the option to just keep paying that interest. A lot of people go broke because they can't afford the payments and they can't afford to take on that kind of investment. That's one of the things you have to keep in mind about an investment. It takes an upfront cost. You have to, please hear me here. To make an investment, you have to pay something. And Jeb today, that money's gone. It's gone. It's still there, but it's gone. To make an investment, you are paying your future self. And so to pay your future self, you have to have something to pay today. Very difficult to invest if you got nothing today. And there's a lot of people that want to pay their future self with money they don't have today. And today's version of themselves is going to go bankrupt and they're never going to get to that future version of themselves. So please do be careful of that. Someone said, don't buy SHIB. This is not the top. I'm not the biggest fan of the Dogecoin and SHIB, but I do, of the Dogecoins and the SHIB coins of crypto, but I do think that they actually do have a good chance of going up in this bull market. Everybody said, make sure to hit that like button if you're enjoying today's stream, if you think other people need to see it. Really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. By the way, if you are loving the technical analysis that you're seeing today, then I want you to do something. I want you to go to the first link in the description box down below and check out the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, because for the last 5.5 years, I have been teaching thousands of students how to do the very same technical analysis that you are seeing on these markets right now. We've had over 5,000 students go through CT2A and learn how to do technical analysis. This course is being worked on as we speak, and you currently have over 45 videos and over 10 hours of content to dive into and learn everything that you can about the cryptocurrency markets that you would be able to profit in them and succeed in them. And it is my vision that after my 6 years of experience in the market, if I were to have forgotten everything, if I had to go back to square one, and I didn't know anything, that I could take CT2A and I could, for the most part, get back to where I am today. That is my vision. It is my vision to take you on a journey to learn what I have learned. And I hope that you guys see that I have some degree of experience in this. And I don't say that to boast, but I do want you to know that I have invested over 10,000 hours in doing technical analysis and learning technical analysis in the last 6 years. There's 8,760 hours in a year. You do the math. There's more to life than TA. It's taken a lot of my time, and I really enjoy it. But I've learned a lot. And I want to help you guys to learn the same thing. And I do believe that by going through the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, you will have the ability, if you put your mind to it, and you put a little bit of elbow grease and hard work in there and a little bit of wisdom and smarts, you will have the ability, and you will, because you went through CT2A, have the technical ability, the skill set to be able to make the kind of predictions that we're making of saying, I think Bitcoin's going to go to 39 to 41. It very well may break above it. Well, that's what happened. When Bitcoin broke through 25, I was the first to say, look, it's probably going to 31.8, and it did. We've been pretty much right on with a lot of the predictions lately, and it's not on me. And the only reason I feel confident to say that is because I don't want any of the credit. I'm just the analyst. The principles are timeless. I'm not trying to brag on myself. I'm trying to brag on the guy that made RSI. I'm trying to brag on the guy that made MACD. I'm trying to brag on the Lord for putting me before you in the first place and being so good to me. I don't want any of the credit. I don't want it. I just want you to succeed. And I know that this has benefited my life, technical analysis. It's an incredible skill set. And I know that it will benefit yours. So look, if you want to learn TA, then by all means, you can sign up for CT2A. If you don't, that's fine. No water off my back. I'm good. But I do believe that you will benefit from going through the academy that has taught literally thousands of people how to become financially sovereign in cryptocurrency markets. Make sure to check it out. The link in the description box down below. Thank you. All right. Let's read some chat. Shadrach Frost said, as a CT2A member, I cannot stress enough how investing in my knowledge helped me make so many better decisions. I would highly recommend others to consider hashtag CT2A, invest in your education. Thank you so much for that, Shadrach. Really appreciate you for tuning in, as always. Market structure has to be built, I have the beholder said, and that's exactly my point. To analyze the market structure, you have to first build the market structure. LB said, God bless you and your family, Jeb. God bless you as well. God bless you as well. All right. Let's see. You need a platform to spring off of? Exactly. Let's see. Imagine taking a loan at 150. Yeah, not as bad if you're taking a loan at the bottom and Bitcoin is a very confident asset. I'm not actually so much against that. Michael Saylor did that and he made a lot of money with it. Please be careful of that. But you need to really know what you're doing if you're going to be taking out loans to invest in things. If you're investing and you're already rallied 60% in the last 60 days, just be careful. That's my advice. Just be careful. Many people look at me like I'm crazy for investing. Yeah, I've been through 2 full-on bear markets now. We're out of this bear market, moving into a bull market. And I've been through the last bear market before this one. And at the bottom, everybody looks at me like, I feel sorry for you, man. Oh, it must suck to be you right now. And there's almost this like air of pride. Like, no, I'm fine. Been through it before. I trust in Bitcoin. And that's the beautiful thing. When you invest in an asset that actually has something behind it, you know that it's going to go back up. There's just a sense of knowing. Obviously, things can happen, but you just know it's going to go back up. Dave has investments in crypto. Really? He does. I did not know that. Well, good for him. Good for him. What's mind-blowing is how close to Bitcoin all-time highs we are and how we still may have another 23 months of bull market to go. Yes, for sure. Oh, man. Separating the behavior from the person can be hard at times. It is hard, but it is important. Because I think calling an act stupid sometimes is a smack upside the head that people need, but actually smacking them just hurts them. And so I do my very best. I've learned this as a parent. I've learned this as myself, trying to treat others the way I want to be treated. I have learned that if somebody walks up to me and they say, Jeb, you're stupid, well, that kind of hurt. But if they say, Jeb, you did something stupid, I'll be like, yeah, man, that was stupid. And there's a difference there. So for the most part, believe me, I'm not going to call somebody stupid. I'm more than happy to call something stupid, though, because I love you. And if you're doing something stupid, or if I'm doing something stupid, I want to turn from that and do something smart. I was at PDQ yesterday. People dedicated to quality, a chicken place here in town. And I said, my wife asked me, should we order here or should we order over there? And I said, well, honey, I think we can only order over there. It was like a kiosk kind of thing. And I didn't think you could actually just order with a person anymore. I thought you just had to do it on the kiosk. I said, well, you can only order over here. And somebody corrected me and I said, no, actually, you can order over there. I looked at her, I said, thank you. I really appreciate being corrected. And then I thought about it in my head for a second, and I was like, that probably sounded super sarcastic. I didn't mean it that way, but it probably sounded ridiculously sarcastic. So I looked over, I was like, by the way, that wasn't sarcasm. Like, I'm genuinely saying thank you, because I would rather be corrected and not be wrong anymore and walk around being correct than to be so prideful that I can't take a correction. And I was like, just so you know, I'm not trying to be rude or sarcastic. Like, literally, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. I would rather be corrected and then walk around being correct than to be corrected and be uncorrectable and to walk around being incorrect because I'm prideful. Because I'll tell you what, on the journey to where I am in my life, I have had to make so many stupid decisions and forsake so many of them. And the times that my life has been the easiest is when somebody has just plain and simply said, yeah, that was the wrong decision. And I said, you know what, you're right, I'm not going to do it anymore. It's in the past now. That's not me anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. Makes life a lot easier. All right, going to read chat here for a little bit, and then we're going to wrap it out. We will be coming out with more content today on Bitcoin. Obviously, we're going to be following this very closely. In a week like this, I may even do, if something crazy happens and I'm available, I might do like a live stream or something if it goes absolutely crazy. We shall see. Clear, healthy communication is so important. Somebody said clarity is kindness. If you speak clarity with kindness, then it can be kind. There are so many times in my life that I can think back that somebody's just said, yeah, that was wrong. And I do my best, and I don't always succeed in this, and a lot of times I don't. I do my best to sit there and and God knows I need help with this. So please, I'm definitely not trying to brag about this, but I try and just sit back and say, you know what? Because sometimes they say it in a way you don't like. If somebody walks up to you and says, that was stupid, you're tempted to say, oh, I don't like that they said that. Oh, how dare you call me stupid? But what I've learned is that if I sit back and I say, you know what? I didn't like the way that was said. I'm going to take it on the chin, though. I'm going to listen to what they said. I'm going to consider it. There's a lot of times that somebody has told me something in a way that I didn't like, but what they told me changed my life. And because I was focused on trying to be the man that I need to be and trying to learn and grow, rather than on being offended, that I actually learned something. And my life's better for it because I did. Zachary B said, appreciate you, Jeb. I appreciate you, Zachary D. Sorry, not B. I read that wrong. Silas E. Borg said, good morning, crypto fam. Let's get it. Good to see you, my friend. Vrooftifluffen said, exciting times. That's right. Larry Larpwell said, lol, this guy is so bad. Why is that, Larry? Feel free to tell me. Zanoni Snowflake said, being autistic and direct, people think we are just being rude or over the top. We've learned what others judge and project is more of a reflection of their own internal reality and processing systems. That's right. And so, and by the way, thank you for not being ashamed of that. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, people want to attack that and make fun of that. That's mean. God made you in a very special way, made me in a very special way. The Lord says, Psalm 139, verse 14, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. That being the creation that he made me. Now, of course, we have a sin nature, but as far as he made you to look the way you look. He made you to act the way you act. He made your brain to work the way it works. Praise him for that. It's his beautiful creation, and you are beautiful for that. And that's not some feel-good message. It's just, look, insecurity is because people are saying, oh, there's something wrong with me. Well, there's a sin issue. We all have sin. That's wrong. But everything else, God made you that way. Thank him for that. I thank him for that. But as to your point, my goal in life, and I'm not here, there are things I'm like, man, I need to fix that. My goal is to be so far above reproach that if somebody looks at my life and says, Jeb, you're preaching this at me, but thou hypocrite, that they wouldn't have a leg to stand on. Sometimes my son walks up to me and he's still 3, so he needs to take a nap every day, and he hates sleeping. He hates taking naps. He hates it so much. And he'll walk up to me. I think one time I said, that baby needs to go to sleep, to our little like 4-month-old. I'm like, she's sleepy. That baby needs to go to sleep. And my son will walk up to me and say, and he hadn't had a nap, right? So he's just been fighting me all day not to take a nap. This happens like every other day. And walks up to me and says, Daddy, that baby needs to go to sleep. And I just look at him. I don't even respond. I just say, thou hypocrite. I don't say anything else. And he goes, what? And I'm like, well, you didn't take your nap. So what are you doing getting on to her? Thou hypocrite. Get yourself straight first. Get the log out of your eye, kid. I love you. Don't go after her. You're doing the same thing. My goal is to not be a hypocrite. My goal is to not be a hypocrite. Naked Director said needed to hear that. My God, my heart bleeds. My heart bleeds. My heart bleeds for you. You have no idea how much my heart bleeds for you guys that watch this show every day. Because I know so many people have been hurt by the church, and I know that I'm a Christian, I know that I'm in public, and I know that I am not ashamed to talk about it. And I know that so many of you guys have been hurt by churches. I know so many of you guys have been hurt by Christians. I know so many of you guys have probably been hurt by something that I said wrong. And I am so sorry for that. Because I believe that the church and the Christians in your life are the people that you should be able to go to and find rest. They may challenge you. They may say what you're doing is wrong, but they need to be the people that you can go to and you can find rest. And you can find peace. And that is not to say that you won't be challenged. I want you to come here, and I want to, in the same way, be a place that you can come and be safe and be cared for and be loved. I want to be kind and gentle to you. I also want to have the freedom in your life to say what you're doing is wrong and it needs to change, because you're going to walk off a cliff if you make those financial decisions. But I want you to know that you're cared for, and I want you to know that you're loved. I want both of those. I want you to know that I want a relationship with you and to support you and to love you and to care for you. And I also want you to know that I love you so much that I'm going to tell you that you're doing something wrong and that you need to change. Because that's the way that my Lord talks to me. He says, I love you. I want a relationship for you. I died for you. But I also want the freedom in your life to say you're doing something that's screwing you over. And so change. And so that's what I want to present. Is I want you guys to know that you're cared for and you're loved, and that I want you to succeed. And I will also tell you if you're doing something that you probably shouldn't be, because I care about you that much. All right. Maybe it's not what you said, but how you say it. Yes, exactly, Colin McDonald. How you say things is very important. And there's plenty of times that I'm challenged on that as well, because sometimes I'm a little bit too direct. Kind of to the point of what, who was it? What Zanoni was saying. Colin McDonald said exactly context and even tone of voice and body language with the unseen and internal intention too. That's right. That's right. Is it wise? Okay, back to crypto, because I've been off on this philosophical rant. Joel Finnegan said, is it wise to sell 25% of your Bitcoin holding at 48K and buy back when it drops down to around 32? Implied assumption is that it will drop down to 32. You don't know that. You don't know that, Joel Finnegan. And the reason I say that is because, and by the way, great question. Great question. Very, very good question. You don't know that it's going to drop down to 32. That's an implied assumption. If you have technical analysis and facts and figures and data to say, I'm quite confident that it will drop down to 32, then that is where you can say, because you're essentially what you're asking me is, when Bitcoin gets to 48, should I short? Because when you sell high and buy back low, that's a short trade. You're making a short trade with part of your investment portfolio. I think that's a mistake. You shouldn't be trading with your investment portfolio. Your investment portfolio is to be bought and then sold at the top of a large market when you're about to go into a bear market. That's pretty much the only time you sell an investment portfolio, unless you're screwed over and you need cash. If you're trying to trade with your investment portfolio, then I think that's a mistake. What might be a better option is to open a short trade at 48,000 if you think you're going to drop the market, if you think the market's going to drop that far. I would keep your investment portfolio and your trading portfolio as far as the east is from the west. Never shall the two touch, except for the profits that you garner from your trading portfolio. Maybe you put into your investment portfolio, but they never go backwards. It's like one of those crab traps or fish traps or whatever. You can go in, but you can't come out. You can take money out of your trading portfolio, put it into your investment portfolio, but you should never be trading with your investment portfolio. And so if you want to make that trade and you feel that it's going to go to 48 and you think it's going to go down to 32, by all means, make that trade. If that's what you think is going to happen, I'm not totally sure that's going to happen, but it might. And if that happens, then open yourself a short trade. If you fail, then you will learn, I hope. If you succeed, then you'll make money and it'll be great. So you'll win on either direction. I would recommend not making what you're considering to be a short trade with your investment portfolio. So if you're going to do a short, I would go on an exchange and use their shorting functionality rather than doing it that way. Or you can just hold on to cash, and if you see a drop, then yeah, go ahead, lump sum buy in. But for the most part, stick to your dollar cost averaging. And with your investment portfolio, I will tell you, and you also, I want to teach you to recognize it yourself in case you don't watch the channel. It's totally fine. I don't want you to be relying on me. I want you to be completely independent, and you're only here because you want to be. I don't want you to have to come to me for a nugget of wisdom. I want you to be so independent that you don't need to do that, but you're here because you like what you're hearing and because you're learning and growing. Regardless, I will talk on the stream when I think we're getting to all-time high and when it's time to start cycling out. So if you're here, then you'll hear that. We're not there yet. And I think Bitcoin will be past all-time high when we get to that point. But yeah, the investments, I would typically hold on to those and wait until the top of a bull market to be cycling out of investments. And at that point, we probably will cycle out of between 50 to 75% of the investment. Some of it we might hold on to because you never know. But we'll try and cycle out of probably between 40 to 75%. Got it. Keep investment portfolio separate. That's what I would recommend, Joel Finnegan. And again, great question. In no way do I ever want you to feel unwelcome to ask a question. I hope I didn't make you feel stupid. Because that's a very good question. I've had the same question myself. My wisdom would be to keep the trading and the investment separate. Open a short trade if you think that's going to happen. And then, again, if it happens, great. You made money. If it doesn't happen, then you have a close-to-home experience that you can analyze and see if there's a lesson you can learn, because the lessons are so much more valuable than the profit. So honestly, when you lose money, a lot of times that is more valuable than when you gain money, because your lessons you will take on with you for the rest of your life. Alex81SG said the ETF could be the biggest news in Bitcoin history. Could it be the biggest sell the news too? Are you prepared for the possibility that ETF can mark the top for the next few years? Alex actually made a video on that a couple of days ago. You can go back and watch it on the channel if you would like. I do think that there is a strong likelihood that we will see maybe some kind of leak or something that we know that ETF is about to come out, and then the market will rally a little bit, and then after it comes out, it crashes. What I will say is this: I believe that the Bitcoin ETF is driving most of the bullishness right now. So once the ETF being approved on the horizon story ends, then a lot of the thing driving the bullishness will be over. Think about it like this. This is close to home. We love Christmas. We're one of the families to start kind of celebrating the Christmas season November 1st. Love Christmas. One of my favorite seasons growing up. It's when I met my wife, so it's kind of special and romantic for that reason. And we just love Christmas a lot. And my least favorite day of the year, in a way, is December 25th. Because now it's over. Crap. Maybe I should say December 26th. And I love it, but it's like bittersweet. It's like, oh, this is great. Oh, man, it's over. Kind of the same thing with the buy the rumor, sell the news event. Everybody's buying right now because they expect a Bitcoin ETF is going to come out. Everybody's excited for Christmas because Christmas is coming. Christmas comes. Now we don't get to look forward to Christmas anymore. ETF comes. Now we don't get to look forward to ETF anymore. Now the narrative has to change entirely. It's a branding issue. We have to change the narrative entirely after the ETF comes to ETF's going to be adopted. But that's not one big singular event. That's kind of like, oh man, we have a new user. Yay. That doesn't really get people fired up as much. So honestly, I think that that's a possibility, is that the ETF could come out and it could mark the top for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if, I would not be at all surprised if, we just rallied all-time high and then ETF hit and then boom, we rally for a week and everybody's really excited and then, all right, we're done. Maybe we'll have a much shorter cycle this time. I don't know, but that's why I'm saying get in your position now. Time is of the essence as far as your dollar cost averaging. I'm not saying throw all your money into it and go bankrupt. I'm not saying that. Shadrach Frost said, thank you, Jeb, and yet another great stream and lesson. I really appreciate all your hard work, the way you teach, and your amazing attitude. God has blessed you, your family, and all of us. God has blessed me so thoroughly, it's not even funny. I'm so thankful. Diane11CA said, tough crowd, lol. Please like the video, as it helps so much. Yes, thank you so much. Please do like the video if you're enjoying. Alex81 said, thanks, Jeb. Love your show, and God bless you. You as well. Lamar James. I was at Jones, says James. Lamar James said, why did Bitcoin and Ethereum pump today and other cryptos did not rally? It's the altcoin engine. The altcoins have been rallying the last several weeks. Bitcoin and Ethereum are the ones driving the show now. Talked about that in a lot of other content, but essentially what that comes down to is that the Bitcoin market rallies, leaves the altcoins in the dust, and the altcoins have been rallying a good bit. But a lot of times Bitcoin, sometimes Ethereum's there with it. They rally, leave everything else in the dust because everything else is boring compared to Bitcoin and ETH. They're on these massive runs. And just overshadow the altcoins. Then they take a breather, and now the altcoins are out of the shadow of Bitcoin and ETH, and so they've run. The altcoins will be having a rally next, which is one of the reasons why I think right now is a good time to be putting your altcoin portfolio into position. Because a lot of times Bitcoin runs very exuberantly like this, and everybody's focusing on Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin pauses, and then boom, there's the altcoins. All right. Adam Rogers said, that's a good point. XTC Arsenal. The train, I see. Do a lead said, are the gains over the last several weeks just grossly undervalued large caps correcting to the upside, or could the next bull run be much earlier than previous cycles? I think it is coming. I think it's coming quickly. And we are undervalued compared to all-time highs. And I think money is going to flow back in very aggressively. The next 6 months are going to be some of the most bullish months that you've ever seen in your entire career in crypto. I do think that you're going to have some corrective movements at times, but in general, it's going to be very good. OMA Season Chat said, get show, let's talk. Great show, I think. Real Unreal said, your thought on Cardano, the DeFi year coming. Yes, big year for DeFi coming. Absolutely. Get in your positions now. All right, guys, we are over 15 minutes over, but I wanted to make it a little bit of a longer show today because there's a lot to talk about. What are your thoughts on ETH in the next quarter? My original prediction for the year was $2,500 to $4,000 by year's end for ETH. I wouldn't be surprised if Ethereum actually did manage to follow through on that. Now's a good time to be making your investment portfolio if you haven't already. If you guys enjoyed today's stream, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to sign up for the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. You can find that with the link in the description box down below and get started learning everything you need to know about technical analysis so you can actually make some money this year. Because there are a lot of times in bull markets where you miss the boat, you don't know what you're doing. And I want you to know what you're doing. Now's the best time to start investing. Investing in what? The market, but also in your education so you know how to invest. Please, learn how to. Don't just go out there and try and build a house and spend 100 years trying to figure out how to put the frame up. Spend a year learning how to build a house, then go build a house in 3 days, 5 days, 20 days, whatever. Make the right investments rather than just making a bunch of investments. That's a wisdom nugget for you. Go learn how to make your investments properly. And I want to teach you how to do that with CT2A. CT2A, one of the reasons I love CT2A is because I don't have to really sell it. I just have to say, look, I'm an expert in TA, helps you make money, go buy it, you'll make more money than you spent. Easy. It's that easy. You know? It's one of the ways that God has blessed me. I don't have to sit here like a used car salesman and say, well, look at this. It's a 2017. It's got leather interiors. I'm just like, no. It's going to make you money if you apply it. How easy is that? If you're interested in CT2A, links in the description. If you're not, that's fine. That's totally fine. Guys, I'm going to wrap it out. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you from the bottom of my heart for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good